So glad that you could make our time to join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumoyiwa Matuloko, and with me on the episode today is Christina Pius.
Hello, viewers.
How's the week going and how's business going? Between the 26th and 27th of January 2015, the Federal Inland Revenue Service held what it dubbed the Corporate Plan Retreat for the year 2015, at which the service's game plan towards meeting government's revenue needs in the year 2015 was mapped out. 3 months after, precisely between Tuesday the 21st and Wednesday the 22nd of April, the service again came together in Calabar, Cross River State for the combined Southeastern and South-South Regional Enlargement meeting. At that meeting, the service took stock. It looked back on the first quarter of 2015 and determined how it fared.
It is no longer news that owing to the crash in the global oil prices, the pressure on the service for increase in revenue generation from government has naturally increased. Even in normal times, taxation remains the most sustainable source of government revenue. This reality is further driven home as reflected in the collection figures we are posting for January to date.
According to Mr. Bamidele's report, in the first quarter 2015, the FRS was able to collect 85% of its targeted revenue for oil taxes, while for non-oil taxes, it achieved 59% of targets. Overall performance was 69% of targets. The South-South region achieved 71%, while the Southeast achieved 81%. In rounding up, Mr. Bamidele had this to say.
One important thing I have been canvassing all along, and I keep on saying it and I will say it again, is that please and please and please again, earn your pay.
Tax Matters spoke to Mr. Bamidele on the performance of the service in the first quarter 2015 and the way forward, the outlook for the future. In rounding up your address to this August gathering, you ended with the phrase, earn your pay. That was your injunction to the members of staff. Talking about earning your pay, your job is very simple at the FRS. Raise revenue for government. Yes. How hopeful are you that as the months progress, especially as we enter a new dispensation, that you will discharge those responsibilities, assessing, collecting, and accounting?
Thank you very much. In the last 3 months of the year that have passed, it's no longer news to people that it's full of so many activities, the political activities, the economic aspect, which include the nosediving in the oil industry. And in the oil industry, sometimes people misunderstood it to be, it's a PPT that is going to be affected, not knowing that even the activities in the industry will affect those who render support services in the industry. And by inference, we affect the non-oil taxes that are derived from such a sector. So many people believe that it's going to be crisis after the election. But people are now returning back. Offices that were closed are being opened. And with all those ones coming on board, I strongly believe that going forward, even from the month of February before it ends, there is every likelihood that there will be improvement in the collection. In addition to this, ordinarily there is seasonality in tax business. Known to everybody, in the first 3 months of the year are the low period for collection purposes because many companies have not finalized their accounts. But from April, then the returns will start to trickle in, and then from there, as we progress into the year, at least between April or between May and September, the level of collection will definitely improve.
And from the acting executive chairman, the outlook for the future. Sir, you've been in the saddle now for a little over a month. What is the outlook for this year? What can you tell us about your plans, your hopes for generating the much needed revenue? We're almost half year.
We're not half year. It's just 1 quarter gone. And I've been there now for about 4.5 weeks. I'm more convinced that the way to go is engagement. It's not about levying an assessment on a taxpayer which you know will not be collected. We will keep engaging with the various associations, with bodies, with taxpayer groups for the advancement of taxation in the country. We will be engaging also with our staffs more often and setting the direction for them. They are lovely officers, they are brilliant officers, but they need to be assisted to interface well with the taxpayers. These are very, very critical. If I tell you that this is how money will come in, I'll be deceiving myself. When we made budget for 2015, we thought that the first quarter of this year will be spending period. There will be a lot of money in the circle. But it didn't turn out to be so. So people had money, but they were afraid. They stacked themselves away. So if that does happen, oil is not doing well. We had the lowest revenue collection from oil this time around. So what happened? Those oil companies who should be producing on a daily basis, they deserted the country. So oil flow halted. It's not as if there were devastation in those regions there, but there was no activity. Corporate entities, this is the time we also expect them to pay, January, February, March, in the light of the self-assessment. But they were not there. They all ran outside the country because of the fear that some kind of reprisal may occur. I'm sure now that they can see some element of stability, they will begin to come back. And from June ending, in fact from May, you will begin to see increase in the number of returns to be submitted. I mean, the moment they begin to pay, more revenue will come in. With the new structure we are introducing, there will be special focus on recoveries of taxes that are out there. There will be focus on audit management, which is tied to risk management. There's focus on the collecting banks themselves, a situation where we don't keep an eye on them. They hold our money unduly for a long period of time. Will no longer be, because now we are repositioning ourselves and consolidating on the gains of yesteryears. We will continue to meet government mandates. At the end of the day, it's for us to be able to deliver the 2015 revenue estimate. We'll work towards that.
Every day, my people dey for work. Some dey do office work. Some get it them own business. So all of them want good road, constant power for better life. Oh, whether now office work, oh yeah, pay your tax. Whether now your own business, oh, pay your tax. If you want a better life, oh, pay your tax. Now your civic responsibility, pay your tax. Better soup, now money cook am. Oh yes. Nothing goes for nothing, my brother. If you want potable water, security and hospital for make life jolly.
That's right. Good roads, good hospitals, potable water, adequate security all come from taxpayers' money. Play your part in making Nigeria great. Everybody, small scale, big companies, entrepreneurs, do the right thing. Pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
Welcome back. The program is State Tax Matters, and talking about delivering to government the much needed revenue for developmental purposes. The question that arises is simple. How do we improve government revenue? Addressing a group of visitors who had come to felicitate with him on the occasion of Easter, outgoing President Goodluck Jonathan had this fresh perspective on the linkage between the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, which is the reason for Easter, and the sacrifice expected of all and sundry.
The key lesson there is sacrifice. Somebody sacrificed for our own salvation. So as a people, as a government, what I always believe is not that people are supporting government or supporting Jonathan or support. Now Buhari is coming on board. Not just I'm supporting Buhari, I'm supporting the government. But what sacrifice are you as individuals ready to make for that government and for the nation? If you're a businessman and you're supporting the government and you don't pay tax and you expect that government to survive, the government cannot survive.
Still on the matter of sacrifice, President Jonathan spoke about the rate of value tax in Nigeria vis-a-vis the rates applicable in neighboring countries.
If you look ECOWAS region, for example. They have VAT as a tax. We have the least VAT, 5% VAT. Other countries, some of almost 12%. If you want to move from, if Buhari now wants to move from 5% to 10%, will Nigerians and its supporters agree? That is a sacrifice. Because as individuals, as a group of people, we must make sacrifice. Is
that one of the ways out of the woods? In fact, we noticed that in the last 2 weeks, the outgoing Minister of Finance, Dr. Mrs. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has also been speaking about the imperatives of increasing the rate of value-added tax in Nigeria. Prior to that, we recall that we brought to you on this program excerpts from a press briefing held by the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, where the matter of increasing rate of VAT came up.
Now, looking at narrow revenue flows from luxury tax introduction, this tax will contribute only 0.38% to Federal Revenue Service collection for this year. Another issue of concern is the question as to whether this is indeed a tax or levy, as necessary legal instrument to back it up has not been submitted to the National Assembly for passage. Indeed, people have been calling, why must we continue to have only, the VAT rate at 5%? Why don't you have another rate? Even though it's not only one rate, you have a zero rate, then we have 5%. But there should be a third rate that will cater for luxury items.
Now, what be this? Make it where you? The thing where you said me too much, calculation is where OJ.
Madam, me correct now. Now the price be that.
You are playing with fire, so me, I know say they never start fat for picking things. Oh, you want to play me, why you? You want to teach me a bit?
Madam, now everything with the add VAT on top. Now so with the seller.
Madam, you dey correct o.
Good day, madam. Any problem? Problem there.
The thing be say una not supposed to charge VAT for baby items and other things wey dey for VAT exemption list.
Sam.
Chai! This one na wayo receipt o. Correct receipt suppose contain the things wey you buy and the VAT wey dey on top. Then other items wey not get VAT, you go put them separately. Madam, I apologize, You go change that.
Change that. You see say we don't know wetin government around.
To pay VAT dey compulsory. Now government they use to make our life jolly, to collect and pay sharply to government. It is correct.
FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
To gauge public opinion, Tax Matters crew went onto the streets.
Do you know anything about value-added tax?
Yes, I do.
And please, can you tell me what you know about it?
Value-added tax is a source of revenue to the government of Nigeria, which people pay on goods and services, which in turn government use to develop infrastructures.
Do you know the rate of value-added tax in Nigeria?
It's 5%.
Are you aware that 5% is actually the lowest in Africa?
I'm not really much aware.
Okay, now I'm telling you that it's the lowest in Africa. You can actually check it online or anywhere. It's open.
Our economic strength is not the same with other African countries.
Well, but you know they call us, in quotes, we are the giants of Africa, so...
That's all right.
Are you a business owner?
I am.
And do you charge VAT?
I do, and I pay, and I also return to the government.
What do you know about VAT?
What I know is that, like my husband, they work for government, and for some people, he's a businessman. Whenever they charge them, they deduct some money called VAT, and whenever I go to eatery, we pay VAT as well.
Now, do you know the rate of VAT in Nigeria?
I think it's 5%.
It is 5%. Now, are you aware that 5% is actually the lowest in Africa?
I'm not aware. I don't know anything about it.
Sir, please, do you know anything about value-added tax?
Yes, of course I know. It's value-added tax, that's VAT. I know that everything you buy sometimes, even in the hotels or any product that you buy, it attracts some percentage. That is value-added tax to the value of whatever you are buying. That's what I know about it.
Okay, so, do you know the rates that we pay in Nigeria?
Actually, I know that some of the things that I do, some of them say 5%. It's normally 5% that I do, see from some of the products that I buy and some of the services that I obtain.
So now, are you aware that 5% we pay in Nigeria is actually the lowest VAT rates in Africa?
I'm not really aware.
Value-added tax are normally tax payable, that's a trading tax, payable when you buy maybe commodities. It's only payable by traders when you buy commodities. That's revenue that government will accrue for trading.
Yes. So do you know the rate of value-added tax in Nigeria?
Actually, value-added tax in Nigeria is 5%. Thank you.
And are you aware that it's the lowest in Africa?
I never get to know that until recent. I read it on papers.
Value-added tax is money percentage on on product. Mm.
Now, do you know the rates of value-added tax in Nigeria?
Presently, I don't know. Maybe 5% or so.
Yes, it's actually 5%. Now, would you be aware that 5% is the lowest in Africa?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell me what you know about value-added tax?
When you buy goods, they charge VAT on the transaction you do on bank. Yeah, so that's all I know about it.
As you know that they charge you 5% when you buy things from shops. Okay. Now, are you aware that 5% that we charge in Nigeria is actually the lowest in Africa?
No, I'm not read about that anyway.
So what do you know about value-added tax?
Value-added tax is a charges. Normally, when you buy something, the amount of money they remove from it. Normally, people pay their people are not known to value-added tax, but they know that they have bought something, not knowing that, unknowing to them, not knowing that government had removed something from it. That's what I will talk about on value-added tax.
Are you aware of the rate of value-added tax in Nigeria?
No.
Okay. It's 5% of whatever you.
Yeah, it's 5% of whatsoever you purchase.
Now, are you aware that 5% that we pay in Nigeria on VAT is actually the lowest in Africa?
I'm not aware about that.
Do you know anything about value-added tax?
Value-added tax has been in place in Nigeria for quite a long time.
Can you just explain to me what you know about it?
Whatever you buy, then value-added tax will be put in it. Yeah.
And sir, do you know the rates of value-added tax in Nigeria?
No.
It's actually 5%.
Yeah. 5%.
Are you aware that 5% VAT is the lowest in Africa?
I don't know.
You know, I must say that I'm very happy with the level of public awareness.
We also asked the respondents if they would support an increase in the rate of VAT in Nigeria. We charge 5% in Nigeria, and it's actually the lowest in Africa. So if government were to increase VAT rates to 10% in Nigeria so that they can create more revenue for the government, would you be in support?
If at the end of the day, the money generated from it will be used as judiciously, fine and good. But if it's business as usual, then I won't be in support of it. But if it will be used to benefit us, then I will be in support of it.
If the government were to say we want to increase it to 10% so that it can increase the revenue, would you be in support?
No. I will not be in support. Reason why is that there is no job for the people, and there is hunger everywhere. So increasing it is the masses that will suffer it at the end of the day. So I am not in support.
If government decides that, okay, we want to take this rate from 5% to 10% so that they can get more revenue in order to do what we are all clamoring for, would you be in support?
Well, I think I have to answer it this way. If the tax could be used for proper development of the country, and we can witness it, for instance, like power infrastructures, then I am in support. But if it is what we're experiencing today, I'm not really in support because we cannot see what the tax is being used for.
Now, if government decides to increase it to 10% so that they can bring in more revenue, so that they can do what they are supposed to do for us, the citizens, do you support that?
Actually, it will be a welcome idea. But having looked at that, it will generate revenue for the government. Our fee to also maybe push prices of commodities up a little bit. I don't know how maybe consumers will be comfortable with that anyway, but it will be a welcome development from the government end, because that will generate revenue. Then they will use revenue to provide certain amenities or infrastructure that we are lacking for now.
If the government decides today that they want to increase VAT rates from 5% to 10% so that they can get more revenue, are you in support?
How will that possible? How can government tell me that they want to increase VAT? What are we benefiting from government? That should be number one. In what way governments are benefiting the masses? Especially there's no electricity for people to generate money, and they are telling me they want to increase the VAT to be paying 10% as well. I'm not in support of that.
But if you see positive changes, would you be in support?
Yes, if there are positive changes, we have to, I think we are in time or in season of change. Let's see the change already before we can proceed.
If government decides to increase that VAT rate from 5% to 10% in order to get more revenue for the economy, would you be in support?
Honestly, I will not be in support, because when you say government wants to increase to get more revenue, how about the revenue they had before? What have they done with it? What have they done with it? Because, on our roads, you can see traveling to, maybe you are going to Benin City, the roads are not too good. They are not too in order, because this money is supposed to be collected so that, there should be some amenities, basic things that the people need, but they are not there.
But if you see improvements, would you now support the increment?
In fact, I will support that if there is improvement.
If government decides to increase our VAT rate from 5% to 10% so that they can generate more revenue for the economy, would you be in support?
Well, I won't be in support, because what we are expecting from government is something that will ease Nigerian people. So, going from 5% to 10% is not encouraging. I won't be in support. All we are actually expecting from government now is something that will at least give Nigerian people, or how will I put it, at least ease the Nigerian problem. That's it.
Okay, now if you feel that, or if you see changes in the country, would you now support that increment?
Yes, I'm interested in changes, and that's what Nigerians are waiting for. So we are fully in support of changes in Nigeria.
There are so many other means they can create or attract more revenues. It's not only doing things that can make the masses to create them, make them to be in exercise or stretch their in elasticity they are already into. So I'm thinking that what they should do is to divert into other means. Agriculture is okay. There are so many other mineral resources in Nigeria that are untapped. Apart from oil, there are so many other things they can do, and not to increase the already problems that we are facing. That's my own take.
There you are. The people have spoken. Vox Pop, Vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. What is your own view? Call us. Send us email. Tweet. Do have a blessed week ahead. From Christina.
Thank you for watching, and bye for now.